Welcome back to How to Make a Trap Beat in Ableton, Part 2. I'm here in my comfy little home studio, and I'm about to show you what we do next with this beat that we created in Part 1. So let me go back to this. So we created this pattern in, not in the arrange mode, but in the clip mode. All right. So I double click that first slot in clip mode here, and you'll see the drum kit abyss kit from the last session, and I did some automating on the hi-hats. And now if I take off the automation lanes setting, then we'll go back to where the actual sequences are. All right, I'm gonna actually hit here, right up here, the little play button, top left here, and that launches the clip that I created. All right, so this is really cool. It's a basic four bars? 4 bars. If you want to make it longer, all you got to do is just go down here where it says length on the left here. Follow me here with the mouse, and just change that to 8. And then what you would do is you would then copy these pieces over and drag them right here, and you'd have an 8-bar loop. But let's go back to 4 bars, okay? Keep it the way it was. And so you're like, okay, we made this beat pattern and it's all mixed together in one track. But really, if you click this downward arrow, it's going to show you all the separate drum kit pieces, which is great if you want to do a basic mix. But honestly, that's not enough for me. So what I'm going to do is do this. We have already dragged this kit over to the arrange screen, so you have three lines going horizontal, you have 3 lines going vertical. The 3 horizontal lines brings you to the arrange screen, which we did this already. So now I have the kit right here, okay? And what I want to do is I want to actually break out each one of those elements onto their own track, So the kick on a track, the hi-hat on a track, the snare on the track, clap, and so forth, so on. So sorry, it's early. I'm on my 2nd cup of coffee. I need a 3rd. It's also 5 degrees out today. It's freezing here in New Jersey. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm sure you're all over the world, but it's freezing here in New Jersey. By the way, today's lesson is brought to you by Audio Swag, my clothing company, myaudioswag.com, and BeatStars, my boys over at BeatStars. All right, so now that you have this, right? You have this one drum loop that you've created. What I want you to do is I want you to click on the channel on the right to highlight it. And what it's going to do, you're going to go down here and you're going to see your sampler where you got the drums from. And you're going to put this in loop mode and you're going to press play. Hit your space bar. You're going to see the drum clips light up down here. So they're individual instruments, for instance, like the hi-hat. All right. As they're lit up down here, I want you to grab each one of them one at a time and just drag them anywhere down here, starting at the same bar that you created the kit, so they line up. As you do that, it's going to start taking those sounds out of the one sampler and making separate tracks for you. So you can do your editing and your compression, EQ, reverb, delay, all your effects on each one of those drum sounds. So keep it looping, look for the highlighted pieces, and drag them. So we did the hi-hat, right? Not bad, we did that twice. Go back to the kit, find the next lit up sound, kick. I see the kick, go here, drop the kick. Highlight the track again, the main drum kit track again. Press play. Here's the snare, I saw that light up, I'm gonna grab that. Go back up here, highlight again. It looks like that's all we had in this loop that we made. So now I can go ahead and I can just kind of turn off the main kit up here. If there's any other sounds in there that we want to use, we can always go back to it. But right now, we now have our drum sounds basically bust out. And now we can group them by highlighting. And then once you highlight, just do Command G. That'll create a new group. You're going to now hit Command R, and you're going to rename that to drums all or drums bus. And now you have the drums here on the solo. You have them all separated. So you have hi-hats, kicks, snare. And you might want to go and label that really quick too. It's always good to label your tracks. This is going to be kick. When you're making these beats, man, you're going to have a lot of files all over the place, so try to be organized. And then you have snare. Okay, so now this is what we have playing back. So check it out. So I got the hats, right? They're dry. Why don't I add a little reverb to them? So in live, every session opens up with a reverb and a delay already pre-existing in your session. If you look down here, your sends are reverb and delay, A and B, right above your master. That corresponds to these two slots right here. And you have to make sure that you have this little M button clicked down here on the right, so it'll show you all of your effect send slots over here. So right now on the hats, I've added a little bit of a reverb, and I'm going to do the same thing on the snare. It's dry right now. Add a little bit of reverb. And now we can mess with the balance. So what I want to do is I want to go into Ableton, into its audio effects, and I want to grab an effect that's called drum bus. So it's right here on your left. I'm going to grab this entire drum bus, and I'm going to drop it on the drums all group slot on your right here in your tracks. And that's going to kind of like glue everything together a little bit, make the drums sound a little bit harder, and you can kind of like add a little bit of boom to it, a little bit of crunch. So I'll go down here, add a little crunch. You have a soft, medium, and hard setting, so it's all preference to you. It's a little bit too much boom for me, but you can mess with that. You can mess with the transients, which makes things tighter or looser as far as like the actual waveforms. Hear this? That's what happens when I bring the transient setting all the way to the left. It's kind of cutting off some of the tail of the sounds. If I go the other way around, it lengthens the sounds out. For this, I'm just going to keep it right in the middle, but I just wanted to show you how that works. All right, so I add a little compression with that, a little bit of bus compression. I want to go and grab an EQ now, and I want to throw that on the kick. I think like the kick needs a little bit more oomph, at the bottom. So I'm going to add a little bit of the oomph, the lower end, but I also want to cut the very bottom of that kick. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a low cut, and we're going to bring it to about 44, 45, get rid of the sub bass. We're going to add our own sub bass in afterwards. And then what I can do is I can boost a little bit around 100 hertz, which is where the lower frequencies of the kick kind of, you really feel them, the warmthness. All right, so let's move on. So we did some work with the drums here, and let me save this. Next, very important, we have to do keyboards, our key sounds, synth sounds, or we can do some samples over top of this, or we can do our bass. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on bass. So for the bass, there are some presets in Ableton, and there are also third-party synths. For bass, I like to use something called Spire, or I have some presets in Ableton. So let me see. Let me go to the presets here. So in my user library, I actually created something, and if I could find it, it would be awesome. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Let's go to 808. Type that in. Preset sampler 808 trap bass. So I'm going to drag this onto a blank track here. So let me bring the volume up on this entire thing here. So this is a preset that I have, which started out as a simple hip-hop bass in Ableton. And I'll show you different ways that you can make your own basses, or, you know, that you can use other third-party synths. So here's the one in Ableton. It was a sub bass that I kind of made sure there's some glide on it. I'm gonna add a compressor to this. I'm gonna boost the volume a little bit on this. So what you're hearing me do is I'm playing the notes, right? And then I'm using the pitch bend on my keyboard. Now this is the beginner tutorial, so I'm not gonna like go crazy with this track because I could spend hours on a track. If you don't have a keyboard and you're inputting notes, that's fine. You can do it just like this. I'm actually gonna show you how to do this without a MIDI keyboard, okay? So let's go back to your clip view, which are the 3 vertical lines. And now you'll see where I inserted that trap bass. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna double click this first slot to turn it into an area where you can edit or create MIDI. And what we wanna do is, first of all, make sure that your headphone icon is on down here, which means you can now hear the sounds as you're clicking through. And don't forget to hit the B button, which is to draw, and set your grid down here. So right now we're at 1/16. I always start with the 16th. But what you want to do now is you want to draw your notes in. And then we can do pitch bend changes like I was doing with my keyboard. We can draw those pitch bend changes in afterwards. So if you don't have a keyboard to do this, we'll just draw those in. So a lot of guys these days don't even use a keyboard. So I'm going to show you this way how to draw your sounds in. So we're going to hit the play button on the master slot here up on the right, and that'll launch the drum, and it'll launch the bass slot that we're going to start building our sequence in. So this is our bass area. I'm going to audition just by clicking on the note that I want. I'll start drawing. All right, so we have our first note in. What I want to do now is just take B off for a second and just drag some notes over. And just kind of wiggle it around, find what sounds good, what feels good. See? So I like that. Grab all these, select them, use your option button and slide them over if you're on a Mac. Boom, boom, boom. So that's a 4-bar pattern, right? I want more. I'm sorry, it's actually a 1-bar pattern. Let's make it at least a 2-bar for right now. Select everything here. Now drag them over here. Now you have 2 bars, and then we'll do 4 bars. So let's do that. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we have a basic sub bass pattern going on here along with the drums. So let's do some like variations on this. I'm gonna actually bring this up here. Ba ba bum bum, ba da dum bum bum. We can do some triplets, some different things. Boom ba ba bum bum. Did you hear that? That little pitch bend. I'm gonna do bum ba bum, ba bum ba ba, bum ba ba, ba ba. All right, there we go. So I cut that note in half just by dragging the corner. We're set at 16ths right now. Excuse me. Maybe it's too much coffee today. All right, so that is 2 bars. That's 2 bars. So we're gonna do 4 bars. I'm gonna lengthen this out, select all. Once again, we have to make this interesting. I can't just repeat the same 2-bar patterns. That gets boring. So what we'll do is we'll do a variation here. Oh, let's move that back. I messed it up. All right, so let's go to, take this out, take this here. We want to just kind of throw this down here again. That is on bar, 1, 2, 2 bars, 3 bars. Okay, we're in 4. Da 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 da. You know what we could do right here? We can actually make these into triplets, which would be really cool. Go like this. Open up your triplet grid by right-clicking here. Change it to triplets, or we can just do 30 seconds first and see what that sounds like. Take it off triplet, put in 30 seconds, and see what this sounds like. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba. It's kind of cool. Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Do that right there. So, like, I just want to show you the possibilities of how you can edit things. It may not be perfect, but it's kind of cool. So, next, let's do this. Let's go and do some pitch bends without using our keyboard. So what you want to do is you want to come down here and you want to click on the envelope tab, or the auto. I call it the clip automation or envelope tab. And that's going to bring up this screen right here. You're going to go up here where it says envelopes. And right now it's set to mixer. We actually want to go down to 808 trap bass. We want to go to device. And we want to bring this to, where is it? Where are you? Transpose, right? Time key right here, transpose. All right. Now, sometimes I'm not sure exactly how it's going to react, so I just kind of mess with stuff. There we go. Nice. You hear it? Boom. Just draw in your pitch bend changes. Even like right here, I like to do like these last minute. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe we'll do something here like random, because I don't know what it's going to do, but it's kind of cool to see it's kind of cool to see what the outcome is when you do random editing. I call them happy mistakes. That might be a little bit too much of a dip right here. I'm losing the bottom note. I'm going to bring this up. Dum dum do boom. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. See, you just don't know what's gonna happen, right? All right, so that's pretty much how you do like pitch bends and things like that without using an actual pitch bender on your keyboard. So I'm going to go out of this mode here. Let's work on some synths, okay? So Command Option L actually closes these windows out. So now what I want to do is I want to find a synth pattern. I want to create one, or I'm going to find one. Okay, so let's just say in this instance I want to create like a dark kind of like piano arpeggiated kind of movement thing. So let's go, and we're going to go onto a empty MIDI slot here, or we'll just drag an instrument right here. But I'm going to show you one of my favorite VSTs that I use right now. One of my favorite synth plugins. Let's go into my library here, and we are going to grab, is the instruments? Nope, we're going to go into plugins right here. I'm going to go to audio units. On a Mac, we use audio units. On a PC, you use VSTs. So Air Music. These synths used to only be available in Pro Tools, but Plugin Boutique now has them for sale, and this one was like dirt cheap. I think I paid $10 for it or something like that. It is one of the nicest sounding VSTs I've ever used. So I'm going to grab this expand plugin, and I'm going to drag it here into this empty MIDI slot, and then we're going to find a sound. So waiting for it to open up here. Okay, there it is. There's expand, and we are going to play some sounds here. But I'm going to grab something like a piano. Get like an acoustic piano, something that has like some like ambient sound behind it, like a choir or something. Yeah, like this. Move my transpose button up here. So I can play this part, or I can go in and just input the notes manually, which I'm going to do because, once again, I want this tutorial to work for people who play and for people who don't play. So I found a sound. I use my piano just to find the sound, but you could actually just use your computer keyboard in Ableton. And even you can input notes like that too. So you can do that. Only problem is the bass that we have is not in that key. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that bass and transpose it. I'm going to select all, and all I'm going to do is just hit the down arrow until I get to the root note that I want. See how it changed the key of the bass that we played before? All right, so let's go back to expand here. And now I can play the piece that I was just working on. Let's draw that in. So we're gonna hit B. Oh, let's launch all clips up here to the right. If you don't know the notes right away, but you know the rhythm or the melody, just draw in the notes in the same, just one note straight across. So bum, 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 bum. And then you'll edit them afterwards. And I don't want them so staccato for this. So let me just click B again, grab all of these. I want them to go smoothly into each other, like ding, 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 ding. So let's drag this out. And now we can start moving notes around. So we have, you just use your arrow button too. There we go. make a longer bar. Or a longer sequence, I should say. The bar is fine. It's one bar. It was one bar, now it's gonna be 2 bars. I'm gonna hit this fold button so I don't have to see any notes we're not using. Now what I want to do is I want to select, actually go back, unfold that, select everything, and we're going to move it up an octave. So it's like twinkly. I'm going to hit shift and then the up arrow on your keyboard. This last note, I want to change it. Da, da. Now I'm going to take that 2-bar pattern and make it a 4-bar pattern. Because what I want to do now is I want to make the first, I want to make one of them an octave lower, one pattern. So maybe we'll do the first 2 bars high, and then bar 3 and 4 make them lower by an octave. Hit shift and then bring it down. Once again, another way to make variation without actually changing anything. Change the octave. All right, so something else that I like to do is I like to use little vocal chops, little vocal sample chops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my library and I'm just going to type in VOC and see if anything comes up. And what I'll do is I'll drag that piece of audio onto a track and place it where I want it, and then I'll put some delay and some reverb on it. So, ooh.
The sounds, the sound, the mind is.
I look usually for like a female vocal. That's kind of cool. You know what? These are kind of cool though to put in the beat. So let me let's go to our sequencer arrange side, and what we need to do is this. We need to take all the other instruments that we just made, and we're going to drop them. We're going to drop them onto, by selecting up here. You have to go up here, select all these tracks up here. We're going to drop them into our arrange window. So select these, drag them over here to the right, and now you can drop them over here. Hopefully this will work correctly. Let's see. Looks like I did something wrong here, but we're gonna find out in a minute. We're gonna find out in a minute what I did. All right, do this again. Select that clip. Select that clip. Come on, guy. I don't know what's going on. All right, drag this clip right here. Expand the first synth, right? We're going to drag that right here. We want to arrange. Come on, Meng. Wake up. Actually, I think we could just do it this way, right? We can. Just grab the master. And it's going to drag all the new pieces. All right. We should be good now. Onto your arrangement. Yep, there they are. And let it loop around while you're messing with stuff. Here's the loop button up here, and here's the loop bracket. So you just kind of want to grab all of that. So let's find a vocal chant. This is cool because this could be part of the rhythm, part of the beat itself. So I'm going to grab that here and just drop it in here, and we're going to find like ways to like add this in here on time, obviously. So like dum ha dum ha. Actually, let's hit Command 2. We're gonna make this. Let me see what we have. There we go. Quarter notes. Go like this. I want to actually zoom in a little bit so I can kind of see what's going on here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making the grid narrower or wider by using Command and then the number 1 and 2. That'll zoom in and out of your grid here. You can take things off the grid by just going Command 4, and that just turns off the grid. If you look down here, it'll say off. Or it'll show you what you're on. Like right now, I'm on 1/32, 1/16, 1/8, quarter notes. Go back. So that's between 2 and 1. Scrolls back and forth between your note divisions, note values. So let's see what we have here. Just grab this here. So I'm gonna grab this sound, this kind of like whooshy sound, and I'm gonna put this, make this part of the beat. So just drag it out. All right. Cool. So we have that. Let's make another audio track. Command T makes new audio tracks. So let's go down here and let's look for something else. Could even use something like that. Let me see this. Right there. Trying to rhythmically find a place that makes it a nice little variation before the beat goes around again. All right, so let's see what else we have. All right, I like little things like that, little hooky pieces. Ooh, what's that? It's off time, what is it? Whatever it is. Take that out of here. Add some reverb, some delay. See if I can get this to kind of sit in between. I don't want to use all that yeah stuff. I just want a very faint. Now I don't like the lower tone that she has in her voice, so I'm going to double click this. And we're just going to go to the transpose button here, and we're going to bring it up an octave. Now I can hear the yeah probably behind that. I'm going to move this forward a little bit. Actually, no, it was better where it was. Cut this, and then move this. I'm not really cool with that vocal. I don't like it. All right, let's get rid of that. Nah, yeah, something like that. Ooh, I like this reverse. There's a reverse vocal here. So this is kind of cool too, though. Let me check this one out. Let's tune that down a little bit. Get that out of here. Go back to the beginning. I'm gonna move this vocal chant, the whoo, that one, to the end here, because now I have this other vocal. There's something going on the end of that vocal, that female vocal. I'm just going to fade it out. So go to the top of your clip here and just kind of go like this, and you can alter the endings of your clips as a fade. That'd be kind of cool if I chopped up this vocal a little bit. Like right here, just started doing some chops. So select the piece that you want to chop out and hit 0, and that will mute it. I'll do the next piece here. So it's Command E to slice, and then it's 0 to mute it. Ooh, haha, that's nice. This makes it a little bit more interesting if you listen to it by itself. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me save what I have so far. All right, so we have that. We need another synth part. I need something else here. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to duplicate this expand synth that I used earlier. Just duplicate that entire track just to open up another instance of expand. Now we can do one or two things. We can actually duplicate that piano sequence with a whole nother sound now, which might not be a bad idea. But I think I want to do something different. I want to do like an arpeggiated, some kind of arpeggiated sound. So what I'm going to do is, something that's a little bit more like moving. Something along the lines of that. So, so now I'm going to double click and go into that expand plugin. It's one of my favorite plugins, man, I'm telling you. And it's such an old one too, but now that they've released it for other DAWs, other DAWs like Ableton, Logic, it's really cool. I'm going to scroll down to my patches in here and go to Simple Arpeggio. And I'm going to just kind of go through this stuff here. Little belly. Annoying. Like that. It's weird and it's like a little bit off, but I ain't mad at it. I'm actually gonna record that in gonna hit F9 on my keyboard. I don't know how you guys have yours set up, but just hit the record button. Like I said, we're doing this for a tutorial. I'm doing this for tutorial purposes. So this might not be the way I would leave this track at the end of the day, but I'm trying to give you guys ideas of how to build these trap tracks from nothing. So okay, so I played that part. I'm gonna go down here and make sure it's quantized correctly. So I'm gonna hit Command A to select everything, and then Command U will quantize to the degree that I've already preset. If you want to go in and you want to check out your quantize functions down here, it's Command Shift U, and that'll bring up your little quantized dialog. Sorry, and I have it set to 16th, so I'll hit OK. All right, so now that we have a basic 4-bar pattern, I'm going to take off the loop mode here. All right, and all I'm going to do is just select everything here and then go Command D and just loop this out till about 3 minutes. Two to 3 minutes. There we go, 3 minutes. And now I want to see everything. So this is the entire sequence. It's just a repeating sequence right now. We have to arrange. We have to do things that make it a little bit interesting. Taking away parts, adding parts in. I want to go next to transitional sounds. Transitional sounds are sounds that are setting the listener up to know that they're coming into a new section of the song. So in the case where modern music is kind of repetitive, these transitions really help you set up your verses and your choruses or your hooks, and really let the listener feel that they're getting led to the next part of the song. So what I do is I use filters as a way of transitioning from part to part, and I also use crash cymbals, reverse sweeps, things like that. So and then also by removing sounds in certain areas will also help do that. So we're gonna start like the arrangement process. So the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna type in my browser 808 crash, because I know that I have them here. I don't know why this pressed. I didn't mean to start that. 808 crash in my library here. Let's give it a second. All right, so the first one, Crash 808X, is something that I have in my library. I'll start the track out with it. Is that on record? There we go. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. All right, so we know that the crash is usually the indicator of the beginning of a new part. I'm going to put one every 8 bars. So I'm going to select an 8-bar area with that crash and just hit Command D and just map it out to the end of the sequence, 3 minutes. So that's the first thing I do. Then I want to grab a reverse cymbal, like a or a sweep or something, and I'm going to put that right before these crashes, like every 16 bars or whatnot. We don't know yet because the song's not created, but this, like I said, once again, for tutorial purposes, I want to show you how you can build up sections and transition. So let's do reverse. Just type in REV and see what comes up here. Under all results, we have reverse cymbal. Perfect. What I want to do is make sure that the end of that sample meets the beginning of the 808 crash we added earlier. So in this case, I'm gonna have to like manually move it over and then slice a little bit of the end off so that when I go and copy and paste, it's an even drop, drag and drop. So what we could do is this. Take this entire pattern here and once again, just recopy it with the reverse cymbal now included. Just makes your job a lot easier, okay? So we got that. Go here. Actually, let's take that out. We don't need this extra piece here. Let's just end the track here. I'm gonna grab this crash and put it at the end. Nice. All right, go back to the beginning. So I don't like to start my tracks with everything in. So we made a drum bus earlier, and I can mute that out, and we can just hear the music playing. Now we can bring the drums in, right? So what I'm going to do is go here where all our drum bus tracks are, and I'm going to just expand this, and I'm going to mute them. Remember, just hit 0, and that will mute them or deactivate them. I'm actually going to do this to here. Let me see. Let's start taking out some sounds now. Like that arpeggiator we have in. That's really meant to be just for like the hook area. Take out the piano too right there. And then we'll start bringing in sounds. Piano's right here. Now I'm going to take out drums, some of the drums. It's just all arrangement, trial and error for your song. So right before that, I consider that like a hook area. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to find some kind of trap snare sample. I can make snare rolls. It's going to take time. But what I'm going to do is just show you how the transitions work by actually just getting one of the samples from my own library. So I'm going to type in trap. And we're going to find stuff that I already have in here. I have fills already made that I've already done. So let's just say like maybe this will work. I don't know. Let's hear it. That's no good. I'll find something. There we go. All right, so I have 2 fills in that one sample, so I'm going to move this other one over. Maybe at the end here. Add a little reverb. All right, so what happens is we've created everything from the intro to like a hook area. So now what I want to do is I want to duplicate that to make a second verse. So I'm actually going to get rid of everything else that we copied over, which is not a problem because I do this a lot. This is kind of my workflow is to bring everything out for 3 minutes and then start taking away things and then recopy. So now I know that I have an intro, I have a verse area. I'll do the same thing here. Grab everything and then duplicate. So now we have 2 verses, 2 hooks, and then maybe at the end we'll just like let the drums play out. Just let all the music play out and then fade out or something. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so one last thing. Two things. I'm going to show you how to do a master filter on everything. It's a low pass filter. And you'll recognize what I'm doing as you're hearing it. You're gonna be like, oh, I hear that a lot on these types of tracks. So I'm gonna grab an auto filter. And if you don't have an auto filter, you can just grab just an EQ and just do a low pass on everything, which is where you cut out all the high ends and then you automate that. So right now, let me play this whole track from the beginning. Go down to my auto filter area. Oh yeah, it's gonna be hot. All right, so I'm gonna open up my automation lane down here on my master track. I'm gonna scroll down to auto filter and I'm gonna go down to the frequency selection. And we're gonna go just put a node here and a node here, which is like just a clicking little dots. We call them nodes, automation nodes. So we're starting with like no high end, and then it's gonna build and sweep open. So maybe what I wanna do is I wanna make another node here so that it sweeps open more dramatically at the end. Okay, my drums are muted, but what's cool about this is you can use this in like your verses too, or maybe your hook. And you could use it to varying degrees. You don't have to go all the way like this. So that's how you use a low pass filter on your master bus. I would do one at the end too. Like let the track kind of ride out and filter out. It's really up to you how you want to do it. All right, so my last thing is let's make this track punchy, in your face, loud, and still keeping it, you know, kind of clean but dirty at the same time. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it does. Trust me. You can have something have the feeling of being dirty without actually being crappy audio quality. So I'm not going to master this, you know, like a full-on master here. But Ableton has some really good audio effects that are already like pre-built templates. So I go into mixing and mastering here on your left. So go into your audio effects tab here in your browser. Go to your audio effect rack, go down to mixing and mastering. I like to use the one that says aggressive dance master. And I'm gonna drag down here and put it on my master track. Okay. And then we're gonna hit the tab down here that will expand all the units that make up that dance mastering chain. So what I like to do is I like to hit the soft clip button here, move the ceiling on the limiter, which is all the way to your right, all the way to 0, or even you could have negative 0.01, but 0 is fine. I hit DC and color here. These are just settings that I normally use. DC removes any kind of DC offset that might be in any of the sounds, which is any line noise or hum, although I don't believe there would be anything in here. I still put it on there as a fail-safe. What I do is go back to like a louder part of the track. It's a little distorted right now where it's at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to look at the compressor. right here and adjust the compressor threshold. So it's not too much. Give it a little bit of mid-frequency gain. If I feel like it's a little crunchy and distorted, I go back to my clip view, which also acts as a mixer. And I select everything here. And I just go to one of the channel strips volume control. And it brings them all down a little bit. It lets me have a little bit more space going into that master compressor, which will actually give you a little bit of a cleaner sound. And now I can go and boost everything up. It's really like a delicate dance when you're doing this stuff to get your sound just right. So the EQ here, I notice, is cutting around 30. That's fine. 32 is good. It rolls off any unnecessary lows that aren't really contributing to the actual sound of your track. They're just there taking up sonic space that you don't hear. Same thing on the high end. I roll off the high end a little bit down to around 17,000 hertz or 17 kilohertz, which is high up in the frequency spectrum that you don't really have to hear. But once again, if you cut those little pieces off the box, you can fit more stuff in the box. So let's see what we have here. And then, of course, balance it the way you want to balance it. So let me hear my drums. Go back to that drum bus setting I had earlier and just kind of make it a little bit cleaner than it was. I'll bring those up a little bit. Drums have to be knocking. Same thing with the bass. Drums and bass, man. Bass out. I haven't put any compression on this bass or EQ. I'm gonna have to EQ the bottom of this 808 bass. Just take a little bit of the sub area off. Once again, same thing like we did on the master. Getting rid of frequencies that are not necessary, that are holding us back from having as much volume as we can in this track while keeping it clean. Now for sub bass, usually everything below 45 or 40 hertz is sub frequency that you don't need to have. It's too much. So I take the bottom and the top of the sub bass off. And then I'm gonna add a compressor. And squish it a little bit. Which brings up the entire character of that bass. Makes it a little bit more punchier in your face, you know? Now what I want to do is I want to group the synths that I did earlier. And just throw a compressor and an EQ on them as well. So drag a compressor to the synth bus and an EQ. I like to put the EQ before the compressor. It's just the way that we were taught to do it back in the day. Although there really is no right or wrong. I just keep things what I know. The idea of this is also getting rid of frequencies that are not important. We don't need any bass on these synths because there's no synth basses going on other than the 808 bass that we have on its own track. So I'm going to cut off everything below around 100 hertz and then give a little boost. I'm going to do something to the hi-hats. I think they're a little bit too much high end on them. I want to like darken them up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit too much high end for me. Take a little reverb off. I want to pan them. I'm going to throw an auto panner on them. my audio effects and grab a I think auto pan should work on that. Gives them a little bit of width. Nice, I like that. Now I'll add a little bit more reverb back in. Just a little bit. And let's check the frequency on these hi-hats. Might want to transpose them. I don't know until I play this back. Too much on the auto pan. Let's bring it down. I want to add a clap to this. A clap or a snap. One more thing. We have a snare right now. You know what? Even another snare pattern. I'm going to go and grab a, go back to my sample library. I actually have my own sample kits on my site. And a lot of the samples that I'll use, like if you see me dropping in pre-made hi-hats or snare patterns or anything like that, those are from my library most likely. So I have something called Straight Shaken Trap, which is on my site at MaxxBeats, MaxxBeats.com. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing sound kit. I didn't use it completely for this tutorial because I just want to show you, I don't want to force you to go buy my kit to kind of work with my tutorial. But if you want, they're there. I have dance kits, pop kits, all kinds of stuff. So, but in this case, I'm just going to look for trap hats, trap snares. I'm sorry. I want to try one other pattern here. Okay. I want something that moves a little bit. I don't know how that's going to sound, but we're going to find out in a minute. Maybe just the first half. Let me hear it with all the drums. Too much compression on this track. Bring the limiter down too. While this may not be the best overall mix down, that takes time to get like a perfect mix down. I think it sounds pretty good. I think it does the job.